What is up, Watch Fam? Happy Friday, and welcome to this week's episode of Liquor Up. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and this is my dad, Rolly. And today we're going to jump into a bottle of what, Dad?
Wow, this is called Clos de Fous 2013 from Chile.
Not bad. And we're going to be talking about the watch that President Obama wore in his presidential portrait. So let's do it.
Interesting topic.
All right, before we jump into it, quick wristwatch check. Love it. Show us what you're wearing.
The old lady's back.
Love it.
Little hiatus.
Yeah, you haven't been wearing it. You're wearing the Panerai a lot.
Yes.
Which we're super excited about. We unboxed your Panerai on an episode of Liquor Run.
We did.
We drank some amaretto, actually,
right.
An Italian liqueur, and unboxed a watch that you've wanted for a long, long time. You know, it was a good episode. You guys should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
The link is in the description. I'm wearing my personal Datejust 1601. We're both wearing our first Rolexes, which is kind of cool.
That's very true. Yeah.
I've got mine in a Type 1 Jean Rousseau strap. These straps are officially back in the watch shop, or in the strap shop at Theo and Harris. Super proud. We've sold them out 3 times now, so that's awesome. And there are only 3 days left for the watch fam to pre-order their new TNH Cyclops T. It was kind of cool, right? The Open 9 Rolex magnification. I don't have one on right now, but classic. You know, the Cyclops is Rolex.
Right.
You know, it's just as much Rolex as the Crown is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unmistakable.
Yep.
So I think it's a cool little nod to watch geekdom. All right, let's introduce this topic and then jump into the wine.
Why don't we do that?
In short,
Yes.
can a president wear a really great watch? You know, can the ultimate man of the people wear, you know, an expensive, wristwatch? We'll decide whether or not later. And what do we think about President Obama, a man who wore very, 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 very humble watches throughout his entire 8-year presidency and now wears a $15,000 white gold Rolex? What do we think about that? So I'm stoked to talk about it, but first, crack open a bottle of wine.
And you said can. I think the question is should.
Should, yeah. All right, let's do this. I'm excited. Tell me about this bottle.
So this is a bottle that was given to us by Anna. And our video editor and
the editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief, yes.
Speaking of a note from Anna.
Crunch down, knock a shelf over. What is up, Watch Fam? If you are a blogger, vlogger, podcaster, YouTuber, interneter of any kind, and you want to be featured in one of our videos or in an article, contact me at anna@theoandharris.com and we'll get working on something.
All right, sounds good. Little publicity plug for Anna to make her life just a little bit easier. All right, let's crack open Anna's bottle of vino.
It's a good public service announcement.
There you go.
Reminds me of the Uncle Floyd show from years ago. You weren't. It was way before your time.
So
but some of your viewers may understand Uncle Floyd.
Some of our viewers.
Yeah, some of our viewers. Yeah. Some of our viewers. So this wine actually got some great reviews from Robert Parker, Josh Reynolds.
Do you ever see this when someone opens up the bottle of wine and as soon as they open they go,
no, yeah, I've seen it many times.
You know, like
at that point, I'm
like, what the f***
I know they don't know anything.
Yeah, I've seen that at restaurants.
Yeah.
No, we got something good here. What the f*** are you talking about?
Yes.
Put a cork up here.
You got a cork in your nose, so you got
schmuck. Anyone that wants to connect with my dad, Rolly, the co-host of Liquor Run, on LinkedIn, connect with him. Rolando Zerone. There you go.
That's
you
right.
Get to have another connection. I don't know what the value add was there. Let's drink wine.
All right. Salud. Nice.
Wow, I can't smell that.
Okay, so everything that the reviews that I read about this wine are completely true and spot on.
No.
This is a lovely wine.
Gorgeous color.
It's an interesting wine because it's about 50% Carignana, Carignan, a French grape, a Spanish grape, what have you. But it's also got some Syrah. I think it may even this is delicious.
Yeah.
Malbec and even some obscure grapes. One called Portuguese Blue. So I've never really heard of that grape. But this wine is not the grapes are not grown by the bottler, by the producer. So they buy all the grapes. So, but this is a hell of a wine.
Wow, it's delicious. Have a sip, man.
Beautiful, bright fruit.
Yep.
Low tannin. It doesn't grip your mouth.
No, it does not.
But it's got nice body.
Yep.
This is like a gulpable wine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? That's a really good way of describing it.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, which is really more typical of summer wines.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, more often summer white,
Holy
like
moly.
really crisp, green apple white.
Yeah.
You'll be able to say, "Whoa, I could just gulp this."
This
is great.
This one's called Clos. I'm gonna give it a shot because this is even though this is a Spanish Chilean wine, it's got like a French name. Clos de Fous, Fous, and it's old vines, and Cauquenina is the name of the wine.
Oh, it's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's delicious, guys. Definitely pick up a bottle.
This one's a revelation.
Yeah, this is really good. Let's get back to the bottle of wine after we've thought about it for a bit. But let's get into this topic.
Right.
When was Bill Clinton president?
I think he was president in the late 90s, 1996.
Okay.
I think he served for 2 terms.
Okay.
96, was reelected in 2000.
Okay.
So he served till 2004,
okay.
2003.
So I don't remember that, right? I was 1 to 9.
Right.
Okay? But I do know, watch history in retrospect. Bill Clinton wore, what was it, a Timex or a Casio or something?
Yeah.
Something very cheap and affordable.
Yeah.
And
Black one.
The way that we look at it, looking back, that was a very intentional, move. That was a very, strategic, style choice to kind of reach out, put an arm out to the public, and say, "I'm a guy like you."
Yes.
Obviously, Bill Clinton, now a very wealthy man.
Yes.
I'm sure before that, I don't think they had a lot of money, but I'm sure he could have had whatever he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, you could get whatever you want. Now he's a huge watch guy. Bill Clinton is enormous. I think there's a Panerai literally named after him. At least on the street. The street word is the Bill Clinton, So big watch guy, but wore a very, very cheap watch. And the way that we look at it, or the way that I look at it, is that kind of set a precedent for presidents to, then on wear inexpensive, watches. Do you remember that? Do you remember the Bill Clinton,
Most certainly.
Right.
I would always comment and say, "Well, he's doing that by design."
Right. I think that my opinion is because you said it first, and I agreed with you. So I didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
He also played the saxophone, right? So it was a lot of very charismatic, but super kind of humble and nice. I don't know. He just seems like a very, very approachable, cool dude.
Yes.
And that was part of the image.
Yes.
But I think it set a really weird precedent. That the president, the man of the people, can't wear something that is, a little ostentatious.
Right. I think I don't know if we've become, but we look at that position as a position of the people, elected by the people. Therefore, he should be all of us.
Right.
I think we begin to believe that when you have a president in office and he or she is wearing a very, very expensive watch.
Call it a gold Rolex.
They call it a gold Rolex. They no longer represent us.
Right.
Not the common people.
Which is so funny, because obviously what a president wears has nothing to do, no bearing on whether or not his actions are for the people. It's a ridiculous thought. Martin Luther King Jr., right? I would look back at American history, one of the most important people,
in American...
Not just American, but just in history.
Cultural,
you know what I mean? Just cultural history. The guy is one of the most important people ever to have lived.
Yes.
Period. He's famous for being a man of the people.
Yes.
He's famous for literally looking, at society and saying we are not servicing, or we are not, accepting an enormous, black people, an enormous populace who are 100% of equal, inalienable rights.
Right.
We're not treating them as such.
Yes.
Right? We're gold date just. You know what I mean? And nobody cared. That was who's gonna dare say, "Oh, I don't think he's really for us. We're poor. He's got a gold Rolex on."
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe people did say that. What do I know? Maybe they did. But I certainly wouldn't have. Look at so many presidents. And I know Lyndon B. Johnson was a wealthy guy. I don't know what people remember about him. I suppose he was a hard ass, but he wore a gold Rolex as well. I mean, so many. Dwight D. Eisenhower, wore a gold Rolex.
Yes.
So many important figures in history, wore expensive watches. And I don't know. I just don't remember them. Well, I wasn't alive, but I wouldn't look back and say, you weren't one of the people.
And maybe we've just become a very hypercritical society.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is too.
Right.
Maybe years ago we just didn't pay that much attention to that. 'Cause there were so many other things really happening in the world.
Right.
That if your leader was wearing that watch, it didn't matter.
Right.
What's funny about this conversation is that while we're focusing on the watch, each of those folks that you've mentioned wear very expensive shirts, suits, and shoes.
Oh yeah, they all liked a lot of very expensive stuff. Those guys, they did. Those things were not independent.
Right? Suits that many of us could
never
wear
afford
because
but we just don't realize.
We don't realize it.
Look at
they go right under the radar.
George W. Bush.
Yes,
he wore shirts by I believe the company, Chicago company, was called Oxford with 2 X's. I believe. This is off the top of my head. I think they were like $10,000 suits. Serious stuff, like serious custom stuff. It's ridiculous,
right?
But nobody sees it. Nobody cares.
No. You see a blue suit.
Hillary Clinton wore. It was funny, and I don't think this is a meme. I think this was actually reality. Mm-hmm. I think she wore like a very, very, very expensive, outfit to one of the debates, and she was obviously the person out of her and Donald Trump, or the person that kind of represented. To most people, the people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Trump did, I guess, in different ways, but it's the truth. I mean, they both did in different ways. And yet, someone posted like the next day that was call it a $4,000 Balenciaga dress.
Right.
She was talking about that. I don't give a
Right.
Wear a $40,000 Balenciaga dress.
Right.
I don't care what you wear. I just think that it's so important to judge, these politicians on the content of their policy and behavior and all things like that. And it's unfortunate, I think, that we nitpick so much.
Right.
But I know that you were talking about something not too long ago. I think you watched a documentary on the Jfk Debate, right?
Yes.
With Nixon.
Yes.
And wasn't that a really defining moment in how we viewed and assessed politicians?
It was the first debate where television was the primary medium. And it is often said that if that debate had just occurred on radio, Nixon would have won. But because it was on television and Nixon was
hotter
sweaty,
than JFK,
and JFK was a smooth SOB, and it looked great hair, great suit. He beat Nixon.
Yeah.
Because people fell in love with that persona, with the look, and things like that. Yeah. And you want to talk about wearing great watches, right?
Yeah, JFK wore a beautiful Omega. He wore a lot. Jackie wore a Cartier tank that Kim Kardashian bought for like a couple $100,000. Obviously JFK was a very wealthy man.
Right.
I don't know what Nixon was, but it's funny. I don't blame you or anyone out there whose opinion on a president is influenced by, or opinion on anyone is influenced by their appearance. I don't blame anyone for that. But I think that when it's coming to assessing a politician, it shouldn't be as important. We're talking about such higher stakes here. Mm-hmm. You're not judging the guy your daughter brought home. In that case, judge him however the you want to judge him. He's just some kid who really means very little. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to the president, talking about really, important, the most important positions in the world, I think that it's our duty to look beyond stupid stuff. It's our duty to look beyond, how nice his suit was or how ugly the watch was or whatever. I don't know. I just think that it should just be a little bit purer than it is sometimes.
Right. And I'm interested in really looking at each one of the presidents. I would even go back, let's say, to Jimmy Carter. Because I suspect that Jimmy Carter probably wore an inexpensive watch because he, really...
I think he was the poorest president ever.
He may have been the poorest president, right, to ever maybe hold office. But he was so committed to people. Not a great president, brilliant man. He was too nice. But I wonder what kind of watch he wore. We'll go back and look at it. See, but I believe that he probably was a very humble watch. Yeah. And I think you look at Clinton, and Clinton probably modeled himself in some part to Jimmy Carter.
Well, Clinton's like a brilliant politician.
He's a brilliant politician.
Yeah, I mean, like him or not, opinion here or there. That I don't know. It just seems as if every time you hear an opinion by Bill Clinton about not just about policy but about strategy and stuff like that, you're like, that's good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So he's probably thought this out. He's probably thought he's probably had this conversation in his mind
Yeah.
and what watch to wear.
Exactly
So,
right.
but it's interesting that I'd love to hear on comments on this video what people think about this topic.
Yeah.
Because it's a provoking one.
Yeah,
Do you look at a president's watch or any world leader of a free society and say, man, he shouldn't be wearing that or she shouldn't be wearing that?
Yeah.
It's
really judgmental, and I'm cool about judging. Like, I'm not Nick Carraway, but I don't know.
What is Donald Trump do? What does he wear?
He's got a pretty crazy watch collection. He's got an ultra slim Vacheron, a really beautiful watch. I think he actually wore that to inauguration. I'm a big fan of that watch. It's in square. I believe he has a yellow gold with bracelet, a Patek Philippe ellipse with a blue dial. So it's got this rectangle but smoothed out. Really beautiful. Oh, an oval, I suppose, would be a rectangle that's smoothed out. And a gold Rolex as well. Like really expensive looking watches. But what's funny? I said, Donald Trump, what he wore. When he had his meeting with Obama in the Oval Office, I noticed their shoes. Obama was wearing a really, cheap pair of shoes. Like,
Interesting.
I like shoes, so to me that was like, nothing. And he was wearing these, very underwhelming, kind of like clunky, typical, shoes. And Trump was wearing these like crazy, I bet you just bespoke made, black, Oxford, crazy fucking pair of shoes. And I said, like, opinion about, Trump aside, just like, and I know that's hard for a lot of people to do, but opinion aside, on both sides, it's hard for people to, take things aside. But I just do like that someone, and whether that's Obama or... I love that Obama is comfortable enough to wear his white gold Cellini now. I love that Trump is comfortable enough to wear probably a $3,000 pair of shoes. I just like that. To me, that makes me trust you more. And not that I trust Obama or Trump, not the point. But I would, if I met Obama, like, I would kind of comment on it. I'd be like, yo, I do watches for a living. Let me ask you a question. Like, and he was probably going to think I'm going to ask, a question that is, super, intellectual and... I don't know. But I would ask about this.
Yeah.
I'd be like, would you trust me enough to give me the answer?
Right.
Like, do you love watches? Yeah. It's very interesting.
It is.
I find it a very interesting topic.
I think the question is, does wearing an expensive watch in the highest office in the world, right? Does wearing that expensive watch impair your ability to govern and to relate to people?
And the answer is no, but does it impair your ability to be elected?
Yeah, right. It's even a better
like,
question.
are people not going to elect you? Anyway,
Right.
This bottle of wine's delicious.
It's delicious.
Thank you so much for buying it, Anna, and
Yes.
bringing it, Dad. I recommend it, definitely. I don't know how much it was, but
it's great.
Was it affordable, relatively speaking?
It was like around 15, 16.
Relatively affordable bottle of wine. And thank you guys
Good stuff.
so much. Comment in the comment section below. I always read all the comments, but I'm particularly going to read and comment back on these. I'm very interested in your thoughts.
Ciao.
Okay, guys. Ciao.